Blake Production.
Yo, what is poppin', Galaxy Gang? This is crazy shit right here. I want to get into this. We're gonna get into the technicals. You guys know me. I'm a big technical nerd. I love that shit. But I just want to highlight the Galaxy community on Twitter has helped me so much, and it's such a dope community. The amount of information I've kind of been able to compile and help strengthen my thesis on the company, it's huge. You know what I mean? And I'm learning a lot too along the way. So I just want to give a shout out to a bunch of these people. We got Anshuman Bob, or Guru 1294, Nicholas Flamel, Vidisi DC. I don't even know if I'm saying these names right. My boy Vidisi DC, bro. Come on. We got like Nick Tay in here. We got Stefan Vanderlux. There's so much more people too, right? Yeti, Espanol or whatever. There's so much, and like I feel like there's more. And it's a shame that I can't get everyone's names. I'd like to get in contact with everyone and shit like that. Like, I think this community is so dope, and we've been able to help each other in a lot of ways. So I've kind of tried to compile all this information we've been kind of shooting back and forth together to kind of create this ultimate grand thesis here, along with a bunch of technical analysis. So let's get into this. Stick around to the very end of this video. I'm very excited. So I'm gonna get right into it. Month over month, okay, there's been an increase in institutions owning Galaxy. Okay, so from last month, October, 16%, and now it's 18%. So it's a slight increase, right? But if we look and compare Galaxy to when we were at the peak of the 2020 to 2022 bull market, right, when it was around $40 a share, the institutional participation was set around 27%. So we're like well over halfway of that, and the stocks maybe a quarter of the price, less than a quarter of the price. So let's say the institutional like investment participation increases to double that. Let's say it's 36%. That would be so interesting to see what will happen to the stock's price if that's the case. Okay, so we have Morningstar continuously upgrading as well, right? Galaxy's targets, I believe it was around $10 a share they had the estimates a few months ago. Now it's $14 a share. Let's be real here. We know the value of this, and longer term, I think it'll blow out $14. Like, I think $14 that's going to happen pretty soon once we get into the technicals. Okay, so 8.5 million shares left for buybacks before May 31st, 2024, right? So they have the option to exercise this potential. This is huge. Like, they'll be buying back shares of the stock. So I don't know too much about this, but technically, like, they could, if they really need to with this allowance here, they could pump the stock. That's pretty interesting, right? So we're sitting at 847 a share. We don't know if they're going to continue to do this or not, but that is a possibility, another catalyst that could increase price. Okay, if you look at BlackRock's, some of BlackRock's allocations, they own 1.7% like of their ETF allocation. I believe it's let me pull that up real quick before I forget. Their iShares blockchain technology ETF, 1.7% of that ETF is allocated to Galaxy. Okay, if we look $40 versus now, okay, during this bear market, the things that Galaxy's done, they've acquired the GK8 self-custody platform. Okay, so they acquired that from Celsius at a 60% discount. Okay, so they acquired that for 44 million. That's a snag. Okay, they've been the partnerships they've been creating with Invesco, right? They're trying to offer institutional investors BTC and ETH ETFs, right? So that's in the process of happening right now. They have $4.5 billion in assets under management. Okay, so even compared to a month ago, right, we've seen this this crypto market has been performing pretty well the past month, and that's, you can tell because a lot of people are excited if you just look at the market environment on X, right? So that's a 16.1 increase from just a month ago. Okay, we need to start taking into consideration that, like, the Nasdaq uplisting is a potential. It hasn't even happened yet. Okay, this is happening before the Bitcoin happening. This is happening before the ETF approvals. This is nuts. This is nuts. It's very exciting. And lastly, what we got here is, according to Buy Bitcoin Worldwide, right? There's Galaxy apparently owns 8,100 BTC. Could that be more? Potentially. We don't know exactly for certain, right? But these are all the bullish catalysts here that I believe. Man, this is nuts. Like, to really think about all this shit has happened in the bear market, it's so undervalued. And like, from a technical perspective, now that we're looking at this, right? Let's go to the weekly time frame. We're looking at a regular chart, okay? I'm going to put this in log chart just because it doesn't, it makes even more sense on a log chart time frame. Okay? We could ignore that euphoria, right? So we have this wave one push, right? Look at the stock's price used to be at $1.18, right? We've created a massive, although the stock did correct, right? From its very highs all the way down to, call it, it made like a 90% correction, okay? That's huge. But also take into consideration that it went up thousands of percent, right? The stock, sorry boys, the stock went up more than 4,400%. So to correct 90% and then create a base higher than the 2018 to 2020 market, that's telling, man. The demand is picking up over time in the stock. It's a beautiful looking chart. It really is. I think right now this is a massive launch pad that's being created. And I think that when we use this is just I think this is honestly a modest target, but if we use the Fibonacci extensions and we kind of extend from the very lows to the very high to the very low of this pullback, right? The first target we're looking at here is 49.30. That's $50, right? So as you look at the Fibonacci targets, it increase. The third target is 140. So let's say that this is wave one, wave two. If the wave three, and we've been chatting, if you guys scroll back on my YouTube, we've been chatting about this thesis since like June 2022, when the markets are like just destroyed. The beginning of this year, January, is when the markets, things look terrible, and we've been chatting about this thesis. So it's just so exciting to see, man. Like, the potential is insane here, right? So think about how fast this happened, continuously getting bought up. If we go on the 8 EMA here, we ride this 8 EMA. If we just continue to ride this 8 EMA, we might be looking at, I don't want to get too excited now, but like, this was 4,000%. If you look at how Bitcoin performed during this time period, Galaxy outperformed Bitcoin, right? So if we're expecting Bitcoin to have a massive pump, we could potentially expect Galaxy to outperform Bitcoin in this sense, right? In this market. It's a possibility. We don't know if that's going to happen or not. But it's just very exciting. We have all these bullish catalysts. The technicals are now lining up, right? So we're starting to shape up this beautiful bull flag here, okay? So this zone, 820 to call it 930. We've got rejected a couple times in this range, right? We've been rejected. We're up here and we're hanging out here. I love that. I love the looks of that. So what I'm thinking could happen is that over the next few weeks, we might see price come up closer to that range. As long as we continue to hold the 8 EMA, there's nothing stopping. It becomes a very little resistance above, and we can check that by looking at the volume profile here, right? So if we look at the volume profile, we're well above majority of investors' holdings is around 537, okay? Above this, look, there's really not much volume above here, or supply above here, I should say. So we could see a melt up in price. Now, again, think about it. The buybacks. What happens if they participate in the buybacks during that melt up? It'll increase that that opportunity, right? So there's just so much bullish catalyst right now. This stock is so undervalued. I'm very hyped for the Glxy squad. I apologize again for the long video, but I hope you guys have a good night. Happy hump day, and let's take over, man. Like, we've been waiting for this opportunity, and it's here. If we just apply the patience, I think it. Oh, I can't just end here. Actually, I need to talk about what I'm thinking of in terms of. Okay, let's get into this. So this is what I'm looking at. I'm going to take off all of the EMAs. This is a massive pattern that's being developed. Massive pattern. Weekly time frame. This pattern's huge, right? It's been developing since June 2022. Over a year in this range, developing this huge base. So if we do get this breakout, okay, what we're expecting is something like this, something to the upside. We could create something like this where we just stall in this range. What this would be creating potentially, right, is an inverse head and shoulders. This is the massive pattern that could be developing right now. Again, this we don't know if this is going to happen, but this is my technical brain just going nuts here. And it makes sense that if we do get the breakout, we expect a nice strong move. After that strong move, it's not going to just keep pumping to infinity. That's very unlikely. In fact, we don't want it to pump to infinity because then it'll cause an even larger, pullback. What we want to see is a nice strong move and healthy consolidation holding up prices, creating more higher lows, validating an uptrend. That's what we want to see. So that could be in the form of an inverse head and shoulders that's holding us back from our neckline of, call it 26 to 40, right? This could be what we're looking at, right? Like, if we, this would be nuts, and this would validate entirely my thesis that I've been chatting about since literally 2022, which is fucking nuts. So I want to save this video, bookmark this video if you fuck with me, if you've been messing with the Glxy community, bookmark, save, repost. This is nuts. And I think that this would just completely confirm our wave 1, wave 2 correction, wave 3 blast off. And that would take quite some time. So we might be looking out into 2025, maybe topping 2026. The breakout of this massive inverse head and shoulders. This is nuts. I can't believe we're looking at this. This is so hype. Easy, guys.